Hey, welcome back, everyone. This episode is out on Thanksgiving Day. So if you're catching this today, I'm guessing you're at work. So be safe. And I hope you're home with your families as soon as possible. Now, if you're not working, but still chose to tune in today, a special thank you. Because I'm guessing this means the football games are either blowouts or the food isn't ready yet. But either way, it's okay. I'm good being the fallback option. We all know there's a weird kind of pressure that sets in this time of the year. Next week, lights will be up. Holiday music is going to be everywhere. There'll be enough snacks to feed a proverbial army. Someone will ask you the same question for the 100th time. So, how does your family deal with you working on the holidays? You'll give some polite answer because that's what we always do. But inside, you're probably wishing these next couple months would just be over. The holidays don't just show up with food and decorations. They show up with expectations. The season has a way of shining a spotlight on the parts of you most people don't understand. The shifts, the deployments or the workups, the missed dinners and events, your kids opening presents without you. Or how about that part of you that you keep down deep inside and you keep it secret? The guilt you feel when you're home because maybe you believe you should be with your team or you should be at work. It's that stuff that the public doesn't see. And that's what makes these next couple months rough. Because in between all the happy holidays and the Starbucks gift cards, these careers take a lot from us, especially this time of the year. The holidays are a pressure test. They can push you towards isolation, or they can pull you towards being more clear about things. This episode is about protecting your mental health when the outside world assumes everything's normal. It's about knowing when to pause, when to reset, and to protect the rare quiet time you'll actually get. Because if you use this time right, it can become your advantage. So with that, let's get into round 99 of the tactical transition tips. This time the topic is, oh great, it's the holiday season. For the close range group, those of you looking at your transition right away or you're less than a year out, take the holidays as downtime. Likely, everything is closed down through the end of the year anyway, so use it as a tactical recovery. For the medium range group, those of you looking at your transition in 5 years or so, do a buddy check. The holidays can bring isolation for you and your friends. Don't ignore either. And for the long range group, those of you just starting your careers, you've got at least a decade before your transition. Holidays don't take days off. These careers will alter your family's traditions, but you can create new or temporary traditions also. Close range group. I know what it's like to be shutting it down at this time of the year. I retired at the end of December 2023. Right now, it probably feels like two calendars are in a debate with each other. One saying it's the holidays, spend time with your family, eat a garbage ton of unhealthy food. And one is counting down the days till you're out, reminding you of all the things that still need to get done. But here's the thing. They don't need to compete. And actually, this might be one of the best windows where taking a step back is the most strategic move you can make. Your instinct is telling you to push on, apply for more jobs, chase more leads, work on responses to those questions that you know are going to be coming. But you need to ask yourself, is that urgency helping me or is it draining me? Do the holidays need to be about operational planning or should they be about you and your family? Transition work can wait. Hiring managers aren't operating at full speed ahead right now anyway. Many of them have probably checked out for the remainder of the year. If you force momentum right now, if you don't give yourself the opportunity to stand down, to take that breather, you risk losing something you truly need for your transition. That's your mental readiness. So here's my practical advice. Take the holidays as downtime. Yes, you can still be productive. Yes, there is still work that needs to be done. But recovery is also an equal part of every operation. Use the season for you and your family. Enjoy the small moments that likely mean a lot to them. Enjoy dinners where you're not fixated on the to-do list rattling in your head. Practice being a normal person. Try going to as many holiday parties that you can. Appreciate being home, but be fully at home. Not worrying about your resume or if you made a good impression during the last meeting or the VA or HR papers that have to get completed. However, or should I say but, because there's always a but. Don't let this downtime lead to a January slump. That's where a lot of people slip. The switch will flip. The noise and the chaos is going to return, which is another reason to take this time and recuperate so that you don't hit January drained instead of being reset. So before you completely shut down, preload 3 specific high leverage tasks that you're going to execute the first week of January. Again, not before, not during the holidays, afterwards. The task could be scheduling an intel gathering, interview, or coffee to learn more about a position or a company that you're going after. Finalize how you're going to tell your story in a way that relates to the person who might be hiring you. Set a meeting with a financial advisor, the VA, a career coach. You choose which is most necessary for you. Pick actions that aren't overly taxing, but will get you moving again after the new year. And back to while you're in this offline period, protect your headspace. Avoid talking about work. Avoid talking about your pending transition or all the things that you need to get done. Trust me, they'll still be there. And unless there's something that's got a deadline during the holidays, let them be. Practice working on your listening and engaging. Listen to other people's stories. Let them talk. Let conversations be about things outside of your career. And if someone does want to push the conversation towards your transition, if it's just generic conversation, do your best to deflect it. Say something like, hey, right now I'm taking it slow. I'm going to pick it back up after the new year. Right now is about me and my family. Your goal isn't to control the transition noise. It's to preserve your strength. So for now, spend this time with your family and friends. Use the season as recovery. And then when January comes, proceed forward with intention. Let the holidays work for you, not against you. And as you make your way through the holidays, keep one thing in mind. Rest now so you're ready to move when January gets here. Let's be honest. We're hard on our sunglasses, especially first responders and military members. They get dropped, scratched, left on the dash, or crushed in our gear bags. Frontline Optics gives you the same premium quality and eye protection without the high price tag. Sure, you can spend big money on the designer brands, but why should you? From polarized UV 400 lenses to anti-reflective and water-repellent coatings, every pair of Frontline Optics glasses is built to handle the demands of the job. And here's the best part. When life happens and they break, Frontline Optics has a no questions asked replacement program, even for prescription glasses. If that's not enough, Frontline Optics was founded by a firefighter, and a portion of every sale supports the First Responders Children's Foundation, helping the families of those who gave everything. If you're looking for sunglasses that look good, are built tough, and that come from a company that gives back, visit frontlineoptics.com and use the promo code TRANSITION10 to get 10% off your purchase. Frontline Optics, from a first responder for the front lines. Medium Range Group. 5 years out feels safe. You're not packing boxes. You've still got a loop and a corkscrew left on this roller coaster ride. The holiday season hits different for you. You're close enough to understand the end is near, but far enough away to keep your foot on the gas. But it's not just your transition or your tomorrow that needs your attention. The holidays are a hard time for emotional struggle and isolation. Some of you will be on duty during the holidays. Some of you will be home, but feel like you should be somewhere else. Some of you will smile when you want to be quiet. And some of you won't even realize you're hurting until the noise stops later. Right now isn't about your resumes. It's about protecting your tribe, starting with yourself. And that means leaning on your buddy team. Schedule check-ins. Call someone you know who might be alone. Let someone else know they can call you. But if you're sensing it, don't wait for someone to reach out if they need anything. In our careers, we get really good at hiding the pain. And so, we need to be equally aware of the absence of signs. Don't forget, it's always about you first. It's the oxygen mask on the plane scenario. You can't help the person next to you if you pass out. So you put your mask on first and then take care of them. So please, if you're struggling or you're in pain, don't ignore it. Don't try to explain or justify it away. Raise your hand and ask for help. However, if you're not struggling, that doesn't mean someone close to you might not be. When you take the initiative to check on others, you have the opportunity to pull them from their isolation. Sometimes the strongest move is to get past your discomfort or thinking that it's going to be awkward and just ask. But don't just ask, "Hey, are you okay?" Then leave it at that. If you sense something, tell them. Be honest. Explain to them what you're noticing and make sure they understand you're not there with any judgment. That's service. That's leadership. That's you being the brother or sister we say we are. Be the one to create an early warning system for your group. Schedule the buddy checks and any type of regular check-in. Encourage group conversations. Start with yourself to get the ball rolling. Talk about things like the struggles being away from our families during the holidays, the struggles with stress in general. There's probably someone in your group who have screwed up childhoods, and the holidays are not good times for them. There's so much about our exit from these careers that's about what we leave in our wake. These next few years is your rehearsal space. Low pressure, high priority, or high opportunity, I should say. Now is the time for your mindset. Test your support system. Because the little t trauma grows when it doesn't get ventilation. Let your community be that ventilation. Let these conversations be practice. Because if you wait until you have to, you won't have the bandwidth to build it. So your mission for the holidays is to pick 3 connections that you will hyper connect with. Not to talk about work or transition, but to talk about life and how each of you is actually doing. The goal isn't solutions. It's making sure your people don't go quiet. That's you being a leader. That's you showing emotional intelligence. That's transition preparation while making sure you and your people are good. Use the season to give back. That's not just transition work. That's legacy work. And legacy is built long before endings ever arrive. If you're like me and you love your coffee, my go-to lately has been Blue Line Roasting. They're a Tennessee-based and law enforcement-owned company, roasting small batches of premium beans. You've got choices from Patriot, which is their light roast, to Failure Drill, their dark roast. They roast all their beans fresh, within 48 hours, and ship them to you even faster. You can also get your beans ground for you or delivered whole. Your choice. But here's the cool part. A portion of what you spend goes to support law enforcement families dealing with the impact of line of duty injuries or loss. You get an incredible coffee, and they get the help they need. Choose a single bag, a sample pack, or start a subscription so you're never out of coffee. Oh, and shipping is always free. Also, for the listeners of this podcast, use the promo code TRANSITION10 to get 10% off your purchase. So head over to bluelineroasting.com and make every cup count. Long Range Group. You're early in your career. Maybe you're even brand new in these careers. But holidays have a way of testing even those who feel far from their exit. Not through the pressure like the others feel it, but through what I'll call a misalignment. Because the thing is, your family's holiday calendars don't always match up with our career calendars. And if you don't understand that early, it can grow into something worse later. These professions don't observe holidays. And you and your family have to be okay with that. Because if you don't, resentment can sneak in. Family plans might have to take a shift. Family traditions might have to bend. And your family and friends, they're going to want to know why you're not around. However, accepting this doesn't mean ignoring your emotions behind it. You're allowed to feel sadness. You're allowed to acknowledge that missing out sucks. What matters is how you process it. If you deny it, it won't go away. But if you can say it and acknowledge it, then it can move on. So for the holidays, practice emotional offloading and build your adaptive practices. Why, you might ask? Because processes give you structure, and structure preserves identity. You might need to celebrate a day or a week later. Do FaceTime calls instead of being at dinner. That's protecting your family and your future self. The earlier your family understands that this is the reality, the easier your career becomes. They don't need to agree with every downside, but they need to understand the why behind your absence. That why prevents resentment. That why creates unity. That why turns sacrifice into shared commitment. And the younger you are, the more important this skill becomes. Because if you build resentment early, it will shadow you later, even into your transition. On the other hand, this is also about identity protection, not letting the uniform become the only thing that defines you. Because if your only relief comes from being at work and you're too worried about being home because of what you'll miss, and when you are home, you can't be home and be in the moment with your family, that's likely to lead to punishment that's going to start with resentment. And that resentment brings distance. That doesn't just affect you, it affects the people waiting at home for you. So for these holidays, work on being you away from the job. Do the things that help you stay human. Maybe you and your family create temporary traditions until you're at a place where you have the holidays off. That's maturity. That's how you show respect for the unpredictability of these careers. Try implementing one simple, flexible holiday tradition. Something for you and your family. It isn't just a workaround. It's emotional insurance. Granted, right now, you're not preparing to leave or transition, but you are preparing to carry the mission, carry the identity, carry the people who share the weight that you're carrying from these careers. This will shape you. It's going to shape you into somebody capable of leading and living beyond the uniform. These careers don't always give you the holidays, but you can build your own traditions, even if they're temporary. They'll protect your connection to your family, to your purpose, to your future self. You know, the one who will hang up the uniform that one last time, one day. Okay, let's close this out. There's something about the holiday season that tests us. It's not just the schedule. It's not just the calls that you'll likely go on. It's the quiet moments when everyone else seems at ease, but you're still half waiting for something to break loose. That's the part of these careers most people don't see. And that's the part that wears on us. It's not because you're fragile. It's because you're human. And your transition, it's not coming now. It's coming later. But it's forming now. In the way you protect your energy. In the way you talk with your family. In the way you choose connection over isolation, even when isolation feels easier. The holidays, they're probably the most difficult time during the year. But they're also about awareness. They're about placing guardrails around resentment before it grows legs. They're about using the holiday time you do get to rebuild strength. So that when the calendar flips, you won't have to scramble to get composed because you'll have stayed composed. Transition isn't just the day you walk away. It's how you carry yourself when your career doesn't match the rest of the world's calendar. And when transition does arrive, you won't answer the door thinking, oh, great, it's the holiday season. If you stayed till the end, thank you. I appreciate it. Please let me know anything that I'm doing wrong. If I'm doing something right, if I'm doing something that's missing for you, I need to know so that I can make corrections. Reach out on social media. You can send me an email. The links are all in the show notes. Something else? Please share the podcast with anyone you think could benefit and enjoy it. And last, don't forget to sign up for the newsletter.